Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Paramparasya Prakriteranadim Ekam Nivishtam Bahudha Guhasu Sarvalayam Sarvacharacharastham त्वामेव विष्णुं शरणं प्रपद्ये यद्वद्देहो वयावा मृदेव तस्या विकारजातानि तद्वत्स्थावरजङ्गमम् अद्वैतं द्वैतवद्भाति एकस्मात् क्षेत्रज्ञात् बहवः क्षेत्रज्ञजातयः जाताः लोहगतादिव दहनात् समन्ततः विस्फुलिङ्गगणाः. So we were looking at the answers given by Adi Sesha to the questions which were asked by the Sishya. Here, while answering, we say that all these three gunas are there, which are the constituents of Maya, and this Maya only all this Srishti, everything is there. Now, if Maya is there, then is it not Advaita Hani? That Advaita will no more be there. If you say that Brahman plus Maya is there and that plus Maya only is accounting for all this world, the appearance of the world, the objective world, and even the subject also. Both the objective world and the subject itself are all due to Maya, the subject-object division. Means as soon as you talk about a division, means there is Dvaita, there is Khanda, it is no more Akhanda or Nirvikalpa. We cannot say Nirvikalpa, there is a Vikalpa. So how do we account for this? Means that's why we saw this verse here. Yadvat dehaha avayava mrideva tasyaha vikara jatani. So two analogies are given. See, all the parts of the body are really the body only, correct? The avayavi, avayava bhava, if you take. The avayavi is the one which is there. All the avayavas are really the avayavi only. This is one understanding. Okay. Therefore, there is Advaita. But even here you can say the Vishishta will come and say, yeah, you are correct. The avayavas are real. Therefore, the avayavi is avayava Vishishta. Means the avayavi is qualified by all the avayavas or the whatever the parts. The whole is nothing but the parts together. Parts are there in the whole, that is the reality. So that's why we should not stretch all these analogies too much. So our acharya is giving one more analogy. Mrideva vikara jatani. So part is nothing but clay. Okay. Part is nothing but clay. Or any other thing made up of clay is nothing but clay. That are the vikara jata. All kinds of modifications or the apparent modifications of clay are nothing but clay. Or all modifications of gold are nothing but gold. So the idea here is that there are two orders of reality. That is the most important teaching. You have to understand what is Satyam, what is Mithya, and how we talk about these two things. Of course, the Mithya itself is talked about only from the standpoint of the appearance of the world. You have to account for the worldly appearance. So we talk about the Maya, which is Mithya. And so from this mithya maya, or mithya means here that which is not there really, that which doesn't have any independent existence. Okay, there are many definitions for what is mithya. If you read advanced texts, in many ways we look at it, but in general, what we can say is mithya means that which appears, but it is not there when you analyze it, correct? Or even maya is said as ya ma sa maya, means what? That which is not there, but it appears to be there, correct? Because it is appearing, you are analyzing whether it is there, and when you analyze, it is not there. So vicharam na sahate, we say. So that is what is called maya, which is mithya. The status of being maya is mithya, means it is false. It doesn't have any existence of its own. That which exists by itself, which doesn't depend on anything for its existence and revelation, that alone is satyam, and that which never changes also. That's how we define satyam. Yad rupena yen nisitam tan na vyabhicharati. Like this, Shankaracharya gives a definition for satyam. Yad rupena yen nisitam. Once you have understood as this, it never changes. It is always the same. It can never be negated. Everything else, whatever is changing, can be negated. And whatever is changing is really false. It's only an appearance. That's what Shankaracharya is defining like that. Yad rupena yen nischitam tad vyabhicharati iti anritam, he says. So that which keeps on changing means it doesn't have a swarupa of its own. Therefore, it doesn't really exist. It's only an appearance. Those vikara itself is mithya, really speaking. Anything which changes, it is all false. So all this thavara jangamam, what we say, the world is basically categorized as moving and immobile. Okay, that which moves, that which does not move, movable, immovable. Even properties we have classification like that, or even beings. Plants are there, trees are there, they don't move in general, but animals are all moving all the time. So this entire Srishti made up of movable and immovable things is all Dvaitam. But this Advaitam alone, Dvaita Vat Bhati, this Vat is very important. It appears as though it is Dvaita. The Advaita Satyam alone is appearing as though it is Dvaita. So even the Upanishad says, Yatra Dvaitam Iva Pashyati. Where you see as though there is Dvaita, then you see there is subject-object division. Okay. So the subject-object division is only Dvaita Vat Nana Iva also. Yeah, iha nana iva pashyati. Like that also the Upanishad says. The ivakara is so important because it is not really there. It's only an appearance. It appears to be there, but in reality it is not there. Therefore, there is no any Advaita hanihi. So further also, you can say, okay, only Advaita is there. So what means that Advaita Satyam is not something separate from you, correct? It is same. It is yourself alone who is appearing as this Advaita Satya. See, that's what already it was said. This kind of an analogy was given before, and it is now given again, correct? So, ekasmat kshetrajnat bahavaha kshetrajna jatayaha jataha. So, there is only one knower from whom these many knowers, many sentient beings, because each sentient being is taken as a knower. There is a knower, known, knowledge, triputi we call it. There is a there is a triad, correct? There are three things which we talk about. That means there are many knowers are there, because in each and every body mind sense complex there is a knower, and like that there are many kinds of species of knowers are there, correct? In fact, in the Bhagavatam, I think we say 84 lakh species are there. So the Bhavaha Kshetrajnaha means there are different types of sentient beings, species. And there are shlokas also for this. The commentator actually quotes all these things. So 84 lakh species are there. And so all these are born from only one Kshetrajna. In the Gita also Bhagavan says, correct? Kshetrajnam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Wherever there is sentiency, you know that I am there. I am the one who is there really, who is appearing as this multiple Kshetrajnas. Again, this all an appearance alone. Like even the Vispulinga uh, analogy is given here, the spark, fire and spark. Or the another analogy was given before I said, correct? I think around 23rd verse or something. You can go back and see. Yadvat dinakara ekaha vibhati salilashayeshu sarveshu tadvat sakala upadhishu avastitaha bhati paramatma. So this sun getting reflected in multiple water bodies or multiple reflecting surfaces also was given as an example before, to make you understand that there is only one consciousness which is appearing as awareness in many different body mind sense complexes. Just because there are many sentient beings, it doesn't mean that there are many consciousnesses. There is only one consciousness, because even with your own experience, if you go, you can never objectify another consciousness. Understand that consciousness can never be objectified. So you can never establish that there is a second consciousness. Whatever you are objectifying is only a body. Okay, you can objectify a physical body and know that, or you can even infer that there is a mind within that. But the consciousness itself, nobody can objectify. So whether there are multiple consciousnesses cannot be arrived at by any means of knowledge like perception or inference. Then what about Shruti? Does the Shruti at least, because we accept the Shruti as a valid means of knowledge, which Shruti says, Ekam eva advitiyam. There is only one. And what about Smriti? Means even Bhagavan also gives similar example, correct? Yatha prakashayat ekaha krishnam lokam imam ravihi. So like even one Surya only is lighting up this entire world. Kshetram, Kshetri, Tata, Kritsnam. Kritsnam, Kshetram, all the Kshetras are lighted up by only one Kshetri, which was already said, correct? Sarva Kshetreshu, I am the only Kshetrajna, Bhagavan said. So here you have to understand that there is only one consciousness, which is appearing as many sentient beings, but don't get confused by that. And that consciousness is yourself. It can never be objectified. And or another analogy is given. Okay, there is a Vispulinga analogy also in different Upanishads. In fact, in Vidyaranya Upanishad, it is there. There is Ajata Shatru Brahmanam, the second chapter, first Brahmanam, last verse, I think 20th verse. This analogy is there. Okay, my Guruji used to say that it is called Spark Vedanta. Okay. So again, this Spark Vedanta also sometimes these Dvaitins use it, or Vishishta Dvaitins say that, see, even the Upanishad it says from one fire comes many sparks. Therefore, there are many sparks are there really. Okay, this is their argument. Okay, but that's not true. The analogy is not for that reason. Okay, the Upanishad does say, Yatagnehe Vispulingaha Vyucharanti Evameva Etasmat Atmanaha Yetaha Atmanaha Vyucharanti. Like this analogy is there. This spark analogy is there. Or even in the Gita 15th chapter, it is there. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhutas Sanatanaha. So the Jiva is Mamaiva Amshaha. The Amshi Bhava is taken as real by the Dvaitins or Vishishta Dvaitins particularly. But even there, what we have to understand is this spark and this flame analogy is given only to show that they are both of the same nature, correct? The spark is not any different from any fire. Understand that. It is also fire, really. Whether it is spark or a big flame from which the spark has come, its nature is the same. One spark is good enough to light up the entire forest, correct? You don't need anything more. Hmm? So, even Bharatiya sings like that, correct? He says that I try to hide a small Agni Kunjund contain the Angor Cardinal. Like this, he says, in a forest, he tried to hide it within this park, inside a tree. But then what Vindithanindadu card, the entire forest got burnt. Means that's the nature of this knowledge, really. It burns down all the Dvaita. So, anyway, here the analogy is what? The spark, the nature of the spark is no different from the nature of the flame from which it has come. It is one and the same. So, the analogy is only pointing out that. Okay, and even the wherever it is appearing in all these 84 lakh species, okay, it is all the same. It is no different from that. Okay, so that has been clearly shown in the Bhagavad Gita also, like I quoted. There are different verses in the 13th chapter. You can go and see. Another important thing we have to understand here is, I already talked about this Satyam and Mithya, correct? The Satyam Mithya is a very, very important thing. Lot of people are confused with reference to this, or many questions can arise from the standpoint of Mithya. But that's why we give all these different analogies. But even then, finally, you have to understand that from the Paramarthika standpoint, the Dvaita itself is not there. So any question you ask about all that is irrelevant, in fact. You have to transcend all that. Till the questioning mind is there, we'll keep giving you answers. But at some point, you have to transcend and understand that the Paramarthika Satyam is one, only one, without a second, without any division. It's a partless whole. It is the it is the basis for the appearance of this entire creation and all that. So this comes out very beautifully in the 9th chapter Gita also. Bhagavan says, okay, a couple of verses are there. It is favorite of my Guruji also. He used to conduct classes so beautifully on those two verses. So Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham tesh vavastitaha. So first Bhagavan says, I am the one who is pervading this entire whatever. All these beings, the entire city itself is pervaded by me. It means what? This Satya Vastu alone is really there. In fact, in language, when we say existence as an adjective we use. It is actually ignorance. We say existent part, existent table, the pot is on the table, all that we can say. Okay. So existence itself is used as an adjective and pot is used as a noun as though it really exists. But really, existence alone is Satyam. It alone is there. Existence itself is noun. And we have to say party existence, clayey existence, tably existence, whatever. You can create adjectives like that. Existence is the one, that is the Sadvastu we say. That alone is really there. Everything is borrowing its existence from that one Vastu which exists really, which is existence itself. And it is also a conscious entity. It is not Jada. That's why Sat and Chit. Sat Chit is pervading everything, because even without Sat Chit, you cannot know the existence of anything, correct? You say part exists means part consciousness is, we say. You say clay is means clay consciousness is. The consciousness is the invariable in each and every cognition. Any cognition, anything you think about, even black hole, you think about means then black hole consciousness is there. Wherever you go in the universe, however far you can go, even beyond all the light years also, there also consciousness has to be there, correct? So the Ishavasya Upanishad, it is beautifully said. That's what the mind runs very fast, it seems. It can go anywhere, correct? Mind can just think and be there in some place in its thought. But even faster is the Atma, because whatever you think about is also consciousness is. Mind itself is conscious, the mind consciousness is. Wherever the mind goes, consciousness is already, correct? So the consciousness travels faster than the mind also. Like this it is said. But it is also said that it doesn't move anywhere. anejat, javiyaha, like this, these contradictions are there. Correct? In the teaching are anoraniyan, mahato mahiyan. Generally, these contradictory things are all associated with Zen Buddhism. Okay. But they just stop with giving some contradictions like this and say that your mind has to stop thinking analytically or logically and transcend it and all that. But we don't use contradiction like that. We have a teaching methodology. We use all these contradictions only to show that Atma, yourself, the consciousness, transcends any of these things. Because contradiction is there within a particular framework, correct? So if you look at it from the standpoint of space, something can be measured in space, correct? It is so big, so small, etc. But when you say Atma is anoraniya, it is smaller than the smallest. It is larger than the largest also. Mahato mahiya means, what does it mean? Means it is immeasurable. It is not subjected to any measurement itself. Understand that. It transcends all kinds of spatial measures. That's why we are saying that. It is a way of teaching and we can explain it. Similarly, when we use other kinds of contradictions also, I told, correct? It is there, it never moves, but it is faster than even the mind. It goes wherever the mind goes, means it is already there. That is the idea. Correct? There is nothing which is there without consciousness is. And that alone is the invariable in each and every cognition, unchanging and invariable, so it is Satyam. And whatever is changing in each and every cognition is all Mithya, it doesn't really count. It is of a different order of reality. It is all Anrita, Mithya. That is the most important thing you have to understand. In each and every cognition, you can understand Advaita. That is what we call as Nirvikalpa, correct? Everything resolves into this consciousness is, which is undivided, partless whole, which is yourself. Aham Nirvikalpaha is the jnanam one has to have. It's the most important thing. And that's why the Upanishad says Pratipodha Viditam Matam. In each and every cognition, it is known. You don't need any special cognition. Once you have this teaching, in each and every cognition is resolving only into yourself, which is Satchit, and which is also the source of all Ananda also, because Ananda is neither an object nor a quality of anything. Everything else is conditionally loved. Atma alone is unconditionally loved, or it is dear to you unconditionally. Therefore, it has to be the source of all happiness. So you are the source of all happiness also. Happiness is not coming from anywhere else. So that is the Swarupa Ananda. It is not experiential also. You are the source of all Ananda. You are the Satchid Ananda Swarupa. That is the teaching. And everything resolves into that because everything else doesn't really count. So this is what beautifully Bhagavan teaches in there also. The nature of Satyam and Mithya one has to understand. Mithya is there because of Satyam. Mithya is there, correct? Because of Satyam, we have to understand. So you can say Mithya is Satyam, but Satyam is not Mithya. Understand that. Pot is clay. Clay is not pot, correct? In your understanding of clay, there is no partness. But in a pot, in a clay pot, partness means you cannot think of partness without clay being there. But in your understanding of clay, there is no partness. Clay is independent of pot. That's why it is vikara. It keeps, and it is born, it will die also. Whatever is born will die. And it is all temporary. It is not one swarupa. So this thing, so maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. So I am avyakta. Means actually speaking, I am unmanifest. Means I am not there to be cognized as an object. I cannot be objectified really. But I am the one who is appearing as this subject object division in all the beings. I am the one who is appearing or pervading all the beings. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. Avyakta murti also it is said. That which is not manifest, is it then what? Shunya, like the Buddhist is saying, means no, it is murti, Bhagavan says. By using the word murti, Bhagavan is pointing out that it is something which is, it is the very existence itself. It is sadvastu. So it is avyakta, but it is still murti means not form in the sense that you can objectify it. Because it is avyakta, it can never be objectified, but still it exists as yourself, correct? You can never negate yourself. You can negate everything else. The negator can never be negated, and the negator but cannot be known as an object also. That is the truth of yourself. That is the truth of the Lord also. Bhagavan Krishna also is saying the same thing. When he says Maya there, it is not Mr. Krishna who is pervading everything. It is Sachidananda Atma Krishna is referring to as Maya. So Matsthani Sarva Bhutani, all the Bhutas are there in me. All the jewelry are in gold. All the different pots, plates, tumblers, etc. are in clay. Correct? Matstani sarva bhutani nachaham teshu avastitaha, but I am not there in them. So why he has to say that? Because ignorant people think I am there in the body. Correct? Or like that they think even Bhagavan is there in some particular form alone. Mr. Krishna is there only in Krishna's form. That means he should be having flute, he should be standing in a particular manner, Tribhanga, etc. Or Vishnu is there with four hands, Shankam, Chakram, etc. Only there Vishnu is there. No, Maya Tatamidam Sarvam. And I am Avyakta, means I don't have, I am not even manifest. So how can I have all these forms? These forms are all there to think of the glory of Bhagavan. Wherever there is any glory, that is all really Bhagavan is manifesting like that, but that is only an appearance. That has to lead you to the truth of Bhagavan, which is not separate from yourself, correct? So, to make it very clear, Bhagavan is saying, I am not there in them. So, if you read that, it's a beautiful Bhashya also, Bhashyakara has written, Shankaracharya. He says, Adhara Adheya Bhava. See, normally you think that something is there somewhere, correct? Like I said already, there is a table, you say pot is there in table, or pot is there on table, I have to say, pot is there on the table. Now the table and pot are of the same order of reality and they have a connection. That's how pot is there on the table. Pot and table are connected, correct? But here when Bhagavan says, Nachaham teshu avastitaha and avyaktaha, all these things, why is he even saying all these things? Because in reality, he is not connected to any beings, the world itself. There is no real connection. Understand that. There is no real adhara, adheya, bhava, sambandha in Samskrita, if I have to say. So, adhara means that which is the basis, you can say. Adheya is that which is based in something, correct? Or the locus, you can say, and that which is there on that locus, correct? Something, the locust, you can say, the locus and the locust, or the support and the supported. All these ways you can understand that. Means there, both are equally real. Normally, in our understanding, in fact, the Ajnanis make it ulta. They think that this Chaitanyam is there in the body. Bhagavan is there in a particular body and all that. Correct? But that's not the truth. I am not there in any of these forms. Bhagavan is saying in any of these bhutas which are born. They are there in me. That doesn't mean I am there in them or I am based in them. They are based on me. Correct? This is a very important thing. Mithya is Satyam. Satyam is not Mithya. B is A is not B. This also my Guruji used to give this analogy. Beggar is the actor. Correct? Actor is acting in a play as a beggar and he's acting so well. Everybody is applauding, but that doesn't mean the actor is beggar. Correct? Beggar is actor. By acting as beggar, he became a millionaire. Okay. So beggar is actor, but actor is not beggar. B is A is not B. This is the important thing you have to understand with reference to Mithya and Satyam. So in fact, in the next verse also he says, immediately, so मया ततमिदं सर्वं जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेषु अवस्थितः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः ममात्मा भूतभावनः. Like this, these two verses, you also remember this or go and memorize these two verses from Gita. Very important. The entire Vedanta is there in these two verses. So he says Nachamasthani Bhutani also, because there is no real sambandha. Understand that they are also not really there in me. He says Nachamasthani Bhutani. Initially he said, okay, all these bhutas are there in me. Now he says, no. It is like say, first we say, okay, from the standpoint of the snake, we say snake is there on the rope. Okay. But then once you understand the rope, where is the snake? There is no real snake, correct? What is the sambandha between rope and snake means? It is purely adhyasika sambandha. It's only superimposition. They are not there really. So Bhagavan immediately says, Nachamatstani bhutani pashyame yogam aishwaram. Yogam here means yuktihi, means connection, sambandha. So it is only this Aishwaram Sambandham means what? The Sambandha between Ishvara and the Jagat, the Srishtam Jagat is like this, he is saying. In reality, there is no real world is there. It's only an appearance. So it is only superimposition. There is no real world out there. Because everywhere the world itself, in each and every cognition, Satchit alone is there, I said. Correct? Satchidananda alone is the reality. So Nachamatstani Bhutani, even though I am the Bhuta Priti, Bhuta Bhavanaha, means Bhuta Bhavanaha means Bhutam Utpadayati, like it is coming from, I am the Srishtikarta and I am the one who is sustaining also, Bhuta Brit. But so Bhuta Brinnacha Bhutastaha, but Nacha Bhutastaha, he says, but okay, I am not there in them, even though I am the one who has created them and I am sustaining them. The rope can say, correct, I created the snake and I am sustaining the snake. Yeah, but I am not there in snake. There is no ropeness in snake, correct? The snake appears, that's all. Then what is the connection between rope and snake? Finally, if you analyze what rope will say, where is the snake? There is no snake. What connection are you talking about? I am not there in any snake, correct? There is no real sambandha. That is brought out even before in the fourth chapter also in the Gita, the same thing is said. You have to understand. चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तारम् अपि मां विद्धि अकर्तारम् अव्ययम्. Bhagavan says same thing comes here also. Tasya kartaram api, even though I am the one who created all these things, the chaturvarna, etc., the entire world you can take there. Chaturvarnyam is only a upalakshana for the entire srishti. Even though I created everything, keeping the mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam also Bhagavan says. So this Maya Prakriti is under my Adhyaksha, means under my control, under my mastery, and everything is there. I have created, you can say, but in reality, I have not done anything. Correct? Tasya kartaram api vidya akartaram avyayam. I never changed. I never change. I don't do anything. There is no kartritvam in me. But it's all appearing. That is the Maya we talk about. So this kind of contradictory things you have to be very clear. The contradiction is there only for you to analyze that and understand the reality. Okay, it is as though contradiction. So you should not accuse the gurus of confusing you. Correct? Even Arjuna accuses Bhagavan in the Gita. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasi iva me, he says. But there he puts two iva there also. As though confusing words, you are as though deluding me, he says. Okay, but he keeps questioning and Bhagavan keeps clarifying. Finally, he says, Nashto mohaha, smritir labdha and all that. So my moha is gone now. I am ready to do whatever I am supposed to do. But even there, see, the beauty of our tradition is what? Bhagavan is not forcing Arjuna. He says, Yathetchasi tatha guru. I have given you all the knowledge. Guru can only give you knowledge. You have to live your life according to in the light of the knowledge which you have gained, correct? So, yatechasi tatha kuru, that is the final thing. You have to own it up. It has to become your knowledge. Once it is your knowledge, your life has to be guided by that knowledge, correct? So you have to own it up. All of you are jnanis. Understand that. If you understand the class, you come to the class, you focus on the class, you understand whatever is said in the class, then you are a jnani. Afterward, you have to only own it up. You have to be recollecting the words of the Guru and Shastra all the time, if possible. If you have interest, it automatically happens, correct? You don't have to sit in one place and do even meditation and all that. Even while you are walking somewhere, even while you are working, anytime this knowledge will come, you can recollect and rest in that knowledge. You cannot have any leisure otherwise. This is the only knowledge where you can really rest. So, anyway, so coming back to the analogy here. So, here we saw the fire spark analogy. And now, okay, if this is the truth, okay, that Brahman and Atman are one and the same, you are the Satchidananda Swarupa, means then why do we have all these problems? Again, you can ask. Okay, if you ask like that, you should not be asking that question anymore. Okay, once you understand your own reality, then this why is an irrelevant question. Okay, because when what is appearing is not real, why should you even bother about why? So why is not really a valid question, but still, if you ask why, again the same answer. What? Te guna sanga doshat baddhaha iva dhanya jatayah swatushaihi janma labhante tavat yavanna jnanavannina dagdhaha. So, te gunasanga doshat baddha iva is the most important. You are as though bound. All your problems are because you are as though bound. Why? Because you have this gunasanga. That is why this asangatvam is the most important thing. Asango hi nahi sajjate and all the Upanishad says. Asango hi ayam purushaha. So this Atma is not really connected to anything. It is unconnected to anything. That is the beauty. The connectivity with the individuality is the problem. You get up, and as soon as you get up in the morning in deep sleep, there is no problem because there is no individuality. You are not connected to anything. It is only Ananda. Anand, Ananda eva Ananda. Okay. Then you get up, then you identify with an individual body, mind, sense complex. The individuality itself is not your reality. Understand that. Just give up the individuality, everything is fine. Individuality is not your very nature. It is not intrinsic to you. It comes and goes. It changes. In waking, there is some individuality. In dream, it is totally replaced by some other individuality. There is no real continuity. You think that the waker continues, correct? The truth is Atma alone continues through the three states. So you have to shift your standpoint from waker to being the conscious entity who is just witnessing everything, in whom all these three states are coming and going, and that conscious entity does not have any individuality at all. Individuality is coming and going, it has nothing to do with you. But if you think that it has got something to do with you, means that is the defect, that is the dosha, that is ajnana, that is the root cause, mula jnanam, guna sanga dosha, baddhaha, then you are bound. You are bound to be an individual means what? Then you are limited, you are separate from everything else. You will have fear, you have desires, then because you think you are wanting person, all the things come, all the problems. This is like dhanya jatayaha swatushaihi, means the grains are all bound within their own, this, we say what? The rice, there is a brand there, correct? Or we say umi in Tamil, correct? So it is covered, there is a covering in all the dhanyas. If you want to cook, means first we have to remove it, correct? We send it to the rice mill or some mill, wheat mill and all that. They remove the covering. Now the commentator here gives interestingly 4 things. Why this analogy was given. This grain being covered by the covering, correct? Whatever covering it is. There are many names for that in English. So, why this covering was given means the covering is born from yourself, correct? It is part of the seed only. Whatever seed is there, it is there, but it is not the seed itself, correct? There is a difference between the covering and the actual grain seed which is there. Like that, this avidya is something which is covering your nature. Ajnanena avritam jnanam only, in the Gita also it is said. Ajnanam is always looked upon as an avarana, it is a covering. Because the truth is there always as it is, but it is as though covered. The covering also is not real, understand that. Nothing can cover this Atma in reality. It is as though covering. So here also the grain is covered, but the covering is not your nature or anything. It is not Atma Swarupa, part of Atma Swarupa. If it is real, and if it is part of your nature, you can never remove it. But here it can be removed, correct? The covering can be removed. That is also shown by this analogy. And what is the, how can you remove it means? By doing this Vedanta Shravanam, Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam, Atma Vichara, what is real, what is unreal, correct? Nitya, Nitya, Satya, Satya, Vastu Vichara you do. By this Tattva Vichara, the covering is gone. And also these coverings are many. Okay, each grain has its own cover. If you take like this. So like this, all these things are brought out by this analogy. Dhanya jataha swatushaihi baddhaha, you can say. They are bound by their own covering. And once this is true means what? You have all these janmas, correct? You have janmas are there. You cannot do anything about that. You will keep being born and you will be dying also. So, but what happens when this jnanam happens then? So till the time jnana is there, you are born, you are dying, you are born, you are dying. This vicious cycle is going on, because there also you can connect it with the grain seed, because the seed is there still. Okay, seed has the potency. So the seed is again born, it is producing more seeds. So Janma is there. But then what? Jnana vannina dagdaha. But if you roast the seed in fire, means its potency is gone. It cannot sprout anymore. Correct? You roast the seed means even the husk will come out. The covering will come out. And you are free. There is no real covering, in fact. That is the roasting here. So like this analogy is again given to tell you that only it is all avidya. Avidya alone is creating. In fact, it's accomplishing the accomplished. That is the important thing you have to understand. Correct? Siddhaha only, whatever is already siddha becomes sadhya because of ajnanam. The accomplished only becomes unaccomplished because of ajnanam. And again, due to jnanam, it becomes accomplishing the accomplished. So, now the next question is, if jnana can only destroy ajnanam, then how will this bondage go away? Means, hey, the bondage is not real. That is the whole idea, correct? Bondage itself was created due to ajnanam. Ajnanam is the karanam for this bondage. Therefore, if you remove the ajnanam, what we call as vritti jnanam, or the knowledge which takes place in the mind, is not really you are producing any new jnanam or anything. The destruction of ajnanam only is always called as jnanam. Understand that. ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानं येषां नाशितम् आत्मनः तेषाम् आदित्यवज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परम्. In the Gita 5th chapter also Bhagavan says that. So all knowledge is really only destruction of ignorance. This is what you have to understand. Because all knowledge is anyway there in the Srishti, correct? Ishvara has all knowledge. Guru has the knowledge. So knowledge is already there. That knowledge is potentially there even in your mind. So you are not creating anything new. Only the ajnana, which is the covering that knowledge, has to go away. The Viveka jnanam is covered by ajnanam. Means once you remove the covering, knowledge is there. Correct? The Vritti jnanam comes and removes. Then the Viveka jnanam manifests, and then by that, then Atma also is then known as it is. The bondage, everything is gone. It is all only baddha iva. Correct? So the nature of that ajnanam also is talked about here. Triguna chaitanyatmani sarvagate sarvagate vasthite khiladhare कुरुते सृष्टिम अविद्या सर्वत्र स्पृश्यते तया न आत्मा. So this triguna avidya. So avidya is also trigunatmika. Understand that, because the traditional prakriya or teaching methodology is what? Avidya is vyashti, maya is samashti. It is all same thing. They are all trigunatmika. They have these three gunas as constituents. But when it comes to the individual, we say that it is malina, because it is tamas is there. That is why this covering is there, ajnana is there. For Ishvara, it is only sattva, sattva pradhana. So sattva is jnanam, tamas is ajnanam. Even in the Gita, Bhagavan says, correct. So this sattva is associated with knowledge. So Bhagavan has all knowledge, in that Atma Jnanam also is included. Because Bhagavat Upadhi, the totality of all the Upadhis in that, the Sattva is Pradhana in the Bhagavat Upadhi. But for individuals, Tamas is there, Ajnanam is there. So, but it is one entity. We don't have to say that Maya is different from Avidya and all that. It is all Trigunatmika. One is at the level of the individual, and this Maya, this Avidya or Maya only, Chaitanya Atmani, there is only one Chaitanya Atma, which is Sarvagata also, which is pervading everything. You think that this Chaitanya is there in one body, mind, sense complex, correct? That's why here our acharya Adi Sesha is saying Sarvagataha again. He's immediately saying Chaitanya Atmani means you should not take individual consciousness. This consciousness is the one which is all pervading. Okay, and avasthite, it is there really, correct? It is not something which is like the Buddhists say. Some Buddhists say that Chaitanya is always flickering. It is momentary. Kshanika Vijnana, they say. No, it is avasthite, means what is? It is the one which is unchanging in each and every cognition. Satchit Buddhi na vyabhicharati. It never changes. It is always there, invariably there in each and every cognition. It can never be negated because it is of the swarupa of the negator. So it is avasthite, sarvagate, akiladhare. It is the adhara for everything. And there is no real adhara adheya bhava that we already talked about. Correct? In that, Srishtim avidya kurute, Triguna avidya Srishtim kurute. In this Chaitanya Atma, which is all pervading, which is there really as the only Satya Vastu, and which is as though the support of everything, or it is the basis for everything, the locus for everything. There, this avidya only is doing the Srishti. Okay, Sarvatra Sprishyate Taya. So everything is touched. Correct? Sarvatra Sprishyate. This avidya is touched by everything. That is it is all Sprishyate here means you can even say that it is tainted. Everything is tainted. Because avidya only has created everything. So it is the one which has produced this world. It is there, but it is not. This self cannot be touched by that. Nachaham teshu avastitaha. Again, you have to say maya tatamidam sarvam. Nacha matstani bhutani. But okay, matstani sarva bhutani. Nachaham teshu avastitaha. These things you have to always remember. So Atma is never tainted by any of these things because it is all only an appearance. It is purely an appearance. Whatever is created by avidya is only appearance. It is only due to ignorance or avidya or ajnana. This entire world is there. But Atma is untouched. But this Atma, at any time it is not touched. Okay. Nasprishyate taya atma avidyaya sarvatra can be also taken as in any state. This Atma is never touched by all these things. During waking also, even though there is this appearance of this subject-object duality, Atma is untouched by the subject-object duality. Whether it is dream, also same thing. In deep sleep, there is no subject-object duality, but it is there as it is. It is not touched by any of these states. This Atma, but for for the Ajnanis, they are all always touched by this Atma, by this Ajnanam. Okay, that is the problem. So the entire problem is one of ignorance. So the solution is only this Atma Jnanam, and what you achieve really is that you are accomplishing the accomplished. You are already free. Vimuktascha vimuchyate, like that the Upanishad says, correct? So the bondage cannot be real. If the bondage is real, then there cannot be any real solution, correct? If the problem is real, there is no solution. Understand that. If the problem is unreal, but you think it is real, then the solution is knowledge. Knowledge that it is not real. That's all is the solution. There is no real problem. Once you know that, that's done. That is the solution. You don't have to do anything afterwards. Knowledge alone gives you moksha. You are already free. Being free, you become free. That itself looks contradictory, but that's how it is. So we'll continue this in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.